Those of us living on a boat, we've all been there. We're experiencing a massive problems that aren't getting any better. On top of that, we are 2 weeks into hurricane season. Surely it can't get any worse.
Bags are packed, are you ready to go?
Having replaced the water pump last week, we were ready to move on, but someone had different thoughts on that. We're now vulnerable and in a very dangerous position. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to leave us a comment and give us a like if you do enjoy. We really love to hear from you. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe please. Cheers. We're Steve and Annette, and with our little pooch Gus, we live on our Venus 46 ketch. Our life is simple. We're going to sail as far as we can for as long as we can, and we want to share it all with you. In the 4 years and 2 months since we have left the UK, we have sailed 11,782 miles. We are now in the Caribbean. We spent 4 years in the Med and then left to set sail west. We visited 11 countries so far, and our motto is still, we sail as far as we can for as long as we can. We are now hunkered down in Grenada in the Caribbean, waiting out the hurricane season, which is June to November. Just on our way to Island Waterworld. I know our problems pale into insignificance when it comes to a lot of people's. However, Steve repaired the water pump, put the water pump on the engine, and everything was going absolutely brilliantly. But we have had a bit of a diesel leak for a number of months, and he hasn't been able to find it. Only a little tiny weep. However, having put the water pump on, unfortunately, it's become a major water leak, and we now are in a bay in Grand Mal Bay in Grenada, and the engine is in a million bits, and yeah, we're a bit stuck because it's we're kind of 2 weeks into hurricane season, so we really should be round in Prickly Bay by now, but we can't get round there. The batteries are now at critical level, so we've not had any sun or enough sun and enough wind to power up the batteries. We went to start the battery charger last night via the generator to give some power back to the batteries, and that has died as well. We're in a bloody mess, a real mess. We're on our way to Island Waterworld, a chandlery, to see if we can buy a new battery charger to at least give us some power, because without power there's so many things that we can't do. And one of them, start the engine when the engine is all back together again. That's how things are at the moment. And that's another issue. We have to keep the dinghy pumped up whilst we're going along at the moment, because Steve did repair it, but
the new engine ripped the patch off. The old Torpedo at 2 knots, the patches were fine, but now with this one,
I just keep telling myself that we need to deal with it in small chunks, each thing in small chunks, and then we'll be all right. We're in a dangerous situation, especially if we start to get a bad storm. We've stopped off in Grenada Yacht Club, and it's not expensive. The reviews say that it's really quite reasonable. We've only stopped off for a drink, so thank you to all of our coffee supporters. our Patreon supporters. Yeah, really. Cheers to you.
We've left little Gus on the boat.
It's just too hot this time of day. He's fine, but just don't like taking him out when it's too hot. We will take him for a swim and a walk early evening. We're still yet to get to Island Water World, which is just over the bay there. I'll show you the bay. I know I got a little bit upset earlier on. I'm sorry for that. Just feels a little bit, we feel very vulnerable at the moment, and we can't really get ourselves out of it immediately, and where we are in the boat does feel a little bit exposed, but we've not got any bad weather coming through at the moment, so that's one good thing. This is delicious. This is mango, local, absolutely delicious. Well, count our blessings, we've got plenty of them, and yeah, just don't get too despondent.
Unfortunately, the engine problem isn't a quick fix. It's a diesel leak on the main injector pump, and it's a leak from a hole that's meant to be there to let diesel out if there's an internal problem with the pump. So it's not something you can just fill the hole in with a bit of Sikaflex or something. So quite a big job ahead.
And on top of all of those issues, a couple of you have mentioned, obviously I've just been to the UK, and we've got some family issues in the UK as well, which are a bit upsetting at the moment, and we thought we'd kind of dealt with them when I went back, but actually since being here they seem to have got quite a bit worse, so we can't afford to go back to the UK.
We seem to have gone for a long time with not a lot of problems, just minimal, and now we seem to have kind of going through a little period where we got one problem after another, and the dinghy's got a flat, and in isolation they're all kind of reasonably okay and manageable, but then when you get 2, 3, 4 or 5 all happen at the same time, it's quite easy to get a little bit kind of, it isn't all paradise and sunshine, and
far from it. It feels far from it right
yeah.
at this moment.
Anyway, we'll get over it.
We're in the chandlery shop, so Steve's just got to touch everything, he's got to feel everything. Hey, don't be rude to me. You do, don't you? Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it's a piece of sandpaper. Oh look, now we're smoothing a piece of plastic.
You are really like pushing your luck.
Should we not get one of those? I thought ours was broken. I'm just getting excited now.
What, because you said yes?
Oh my god. What was I going to say? Right, so the weather is bloody awful today. Hasn't stopped raining since about 4 o'clock this morning, and I was sleeping outside. Steve, please just get dressed.
These are my working in the engine room pants.
Yeah, the weather's been really bad today. It hasn't stopped raining, which means that we've got to keep all of the windows closed, which makes it really humid, hot and horrible. Anyway, we got a few boat jobs to do today. So going on from where we were the other day, it's oh god, it's awful. These are two, what do they call them? Comfort seats. They're very clever seats because they do this. Like that, and you can actually sit up. You don't need to lean up against a wall in order for your back to be supported. In our infinite wisdom, we bought grey, which was just a stupid colour to by, because it just gets filthy, and I scrub it with a scrubbing brush, but it's kind of gone beyond. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make, and it won't be as fitted as what that is, but it will look better than what that is, which is pretty grubby and filthy. Look, that's almost kind of mould. So I finished it now. Well, it's as good as I can get it. It's not a Franken cover, but anyway, there you go. It's not quite so tight because the material has not got really a lot of pull in it, but the good thing is I'll be able to take the cover off and clean it. So I'm reasonably happy with it. Steve's still in the engine room at the moment, trying to put the pump back on and the exhaust hose and several other bits, ready for when we go around to Prickly Bay in a couple of days.
Last week, Annette got back with a new one of these. I fitted it, a new one of these. Okay, a new one of these. And we thought all our problems were over. She also brought this back. So I was getting ready to fit this to sort out our diesel leak. I fitted a new one of these. It took me 2 days to get it into the engine room because it was just, they changed the design slightly. Here's the one I fitted that took me 2 days to get in, and here's the old one, and there's a little bit of a difference. When I'd fitted it and it was all working well, and you saw in the last episode loads of water coming out the back of the engine, we ran the engine for about an hour and a half to charge the batteries up. I went in to check for water leaks and realised that we had a massive diesel leak. So now the plan is to put the water pump back in, test the engine, film that hole to see whether the water's definitely coming out, sorry, not water, diesel's definitely coming out of that hole, and then work out how we get over it. I've now found the problem, and I wish I hadn't. So you can see the leak from that video. That's the main fuel injection pump, which is a major part of the engine. As a result of this diesel leak, we've Googled it and looked into it, and basically the pump either needs a rebuild or new. It took us 24 hours to find a replacement pump, which, sod's law, happens to be back in the UK where Annette's just come from. So we've ordered it. It's being DHL'd to us, and we're now waiting for it to arrive.
And then on top of all of that, our biggest fears are being realised at the moment out in the Atlantic. We're in hurricane season, and we've got the first tropical storm, which has already developed and is 3/4 of the way across the Atlantic. We are about 2 days out of it.
Yeah. Tropical Storm Brett, which could turn into a hurricane when it reaches landfall.
Obviously we're hoping not, because we've got no way of moving the boat under any steam. It will move, we can turn the engine on, but without having a constant flow of fuel going through, we just seize the engine. So we really are up it street without a paddle.
Yeah, but tomorrow's another day.
We really have had the most awful couple of weeks.
So people have said it before, it's not all sunshine, and it's not all sunshine.
No. But we'll get over it.
Yeah, wish us luck. And find out more next week.
Yeah. How do you know it's dead? Did you move it?
I asked it. I didn't move it. It looked dead. It wasn't moving.
Yeah, but they don't when they're really still.
Well, perhaps it's during the daytime. Perhaps during the daytime it goes to sleep.
Why do you always do that?
I don't know. Perhaps I'm not a professional.
Oh, no, nobody is, Steve. There is something you are professional at, and that's being a dick.
Ooh. Why the funny headdress? Are you in panto or something? Are you getting ready for the Christmas panto season? All right, all right. Oh no, it's still alive. It wasn't like that before.
No?
It was laid flat.
There you go, you see. Now you want me to pick it up. This is becoming a theme, because you won't pick anything up.
It looks angry.
I know. I'd be angry as well if I'd been laid on.
Doesn't it?
Pardon?
Looks like a leaf.
Obviously designed to look like a leaf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna touch it.
Oh.
Oh no, I think perhaps it might be dead.
What do you think? It might have just curled up a bit. I know it's plain dead, isn't it?
No, it's dead. God, it's quite big, isn't it? Oh,
Throw it in the
poor
water.
thing. I think perhaps I might have laid on it in my sleep, because I slept out here last night.
It probably died with one of your guffs. And one of your
A guff. I mean, Steve, a guff. That's like something a 5-year-old would say.
A night guff.
Oh, what?
Right, sing it. A night guff. Those ones that
I don't know. It's worse than a 5-year-old. It is definitely worse than a 5-year-old.
Right, sing it. Get rid
All
of it.
right, I'm going to get rid of it. Hold on.